Citizen Kane, but even critics have claimed that it was shit in its day. Some films are shit and shit they will stay, but some get better over time because of Nicolas Cage. So which film stays shit forever? And which one's got a little bit better? Second chance movies. No poor bloods were harmed in the making of this podcast.
Welcome to Second Chance Movies, the podcast where we rewatch movies and decide if they deserve a second chance.
I'm Joe Harper, your host who loves rewatching movies and was always Team Edward.
And I'm Jessica Quaz, your host who's a one and done kind of movie viewer who was always Team Jacob.
Uh-oh.
And
I wonder what movie we're talking about today.
Well, today we are giving a second chance to the infamous love story, the love saga, Twilight.
Saga? We had to watch all of them?
No, but this one is,
Oh,
I mean,
God.
we didn't have to, but we could have.
If you ever force me to watch them all, I'll lie and just pretend I watched them.
I mean, there's a lot. There's like 5 movies, and they're all, both,
That's
like, all of
fine.
them, like 2 hours
We
at
forgot
least.
the last one's broken up into 2 pieces.
Of course, that was so trendy to do at the time. Yeah.
Guys, today's movie is Twilight, the beginning of the Twilight saga. We aren't continuing the Twilight. We're just doing Twilight.
The beginning's the first part.
For Valentine's Day, because it's probably the most romantic movie that's been around in the last 20 years. So
It truly is, just really defines love of a generation. We had to get into it. It's fucking Twilight.
So, spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about this movie today. So beware. You might, if you still haven't discovered Twilight, you're hoping to, I don't know, learn who Bella ends up with. We're going to give it away, probably. For those of you who have never seen Twilight, or for those of you who don't remember Twilight, I'm going to give the synopsis. When Bella Swan moves to a small town in the Pacific Northwest, she falls in love with Edward Cullen, a mysterious classmate who reveals himself to be a 108-year-old vampire.
Okay, first of all, like, there's way too many details in this that we just don't need. Like, one, we don't need to know, like, specifically where this small town is in the country. I mean, like, it kind of matters, but doesn't.
Yeah.
In terms of a synopsis, I don't think we need it.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really think the age is very specific.
We don't, I know, but, like, we never really, that doesn't play a role either. It's just, like, we know he's old.
I feel like they name drop it a lot. You're 108. No, they never say it.
There's that one line where she asks, like, how old are you? And he goes, 17. And she goes, how long have you been 17? And he goes, a while. Wow.
Oh, no. So, a little info for people who are really oblivious to what Twilight is. They're based off a book series written by Stephanie Meyer. And that book series was like the follow-up to like Harry Potter in terms of like popularity and like the next thing to cling to.
Yes.
I think it was really popular with like young teenage girls.
Yep. I can attest. I read them when I was a young teenage girl.
I feel like that was 100% its demographic. And
yeah,
I feel like I love to speak on the behalf of all the teenage girls. It hit us true to our hearts.
It did. I will say there was something very intriguing. I mean, I read the first one when I was like 13, like very young, didn't understand what like a healthy relationship looked like, really.
Well, at least you had Twilight to base it off of.
I had Twilight to base it off of, that's right. And the first one was very like, oh my god, he's a vampire, oh, and they're teens. And then from there I read all the books. The last book really was rough. I remember even at a young age just being like, god, this is not good. Like,
is it because she wasn't ending up with Jacob?
It could have been because I was Team Jacob reading the books, because like Edward is like kind of a psycho and like super controlling and possessive.
I have a confession to make. I was on neither team, actually. I just did it as a fun intro for you.
Wow, the truth comes out. Um, I was Team Jacob when I was younger. Now, as an adult woman, I am Team No One. Like, both of these boys kind of suck. When this came out, I saw it in theaters. I did not see all of them in theaters, because I did also recognize that the movies, like, just objectively were not good.
Yeah.
So after a while, I definitely died out because there was like 10 hours of content that I couldn't deal with. And yeah, it was a phenomenon. I mean, it was a massive hit, made so much fucking money. I mean, it is what it was. What was your relationship like to Twilight?
So I had a friend in college who was obsessed with Robert Pattinson. Not from Twilight, but because he was Cedric Diggory in Harry Potter.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
I was also never like a huge fan of Harry Potter. Like I watched them. They're all right. I'm into it more now because the wife is like, "Oh, Harry Potter is fun." But the girl in college loved Pattinson, so she talked all about Twilight, and I was just like, I don't care. I don't care. And then I think there was a girl like after college I dated that like was obsessed with reading the books over and over and over.
Whoa.
And fourth, the fifth movie came out. I don't think I saw any of the movies actually.
Okay.
I went in blind.
Wow.
I went in with just the knowledge of like her describing the books to me. Um, she took me to the double feature because the last book is broken up into two movies, and so for people they played both movies back to back when the new one came out.
It's a lot all at once. It's a lot of time.
I think we were about an hour into the first movie, and sorry, this is movie 4.
Okay.
We only watched 4 and 5, Breaking Dawn, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we watched Breaking Dawn Part 1, and about an hour into that, I check out. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go stretch my legs, go to the bathroom, get some popcorn, and I just twiddled around in the lobby for an hour and a half. And it's like, okay, the movie's got to be over now. I was just so bored. I did not want to sit through it anymore. I sat down, and I remember just sitting through the second movie was, sorry, it's not the fifth movie.
The fifth movie, second for you.
Part 2 was at least more engaging, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. And I at least stayed through the whole of that. I watched all of that one. I think I eventually watched them all on DVD afterwards because I was like, that was not terrible. I'll sit through them, I guess. And they're not for me, but I definitely see why there's a fan base for them.
Wow, there's a lot to unpack with all that you just said.
Sorry, my experience to this movie was a whole story about one of the other movies in the series.
It is really funny though that like your introduction to the series was the tail end of it, but also I feel like it's really easy to catch on like what's happening here.
It wasn't.
Okay.
There was a lot of things happening.
Yeah, there was.
She loves a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
I think to love him is dangerous because he wants to eat her, drink their blood.
Yeah.
But she's at a point where she like wants to become the vampire to live long, even though she's like 17 and has met him that year.
Right.
It's a lot to decide in a span of a month or so.
Well, yeah, because the first movie book literally all just take place in the span of like 3 months. So that's like so toxic.
Yeah.
So unhealthy. I don't like that. The end of the series is where shit gets really weird and like I can't even deal with it.
Yeah, I was trying like, wait, he's imprinting on a baby?
Sure, you're gonna bang that baby. Yep.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I was
weird.
There's a lot of weird stuff in that.
There's a lot of weird stuff.
I keep shaming the movie, but I need to explain this right now. I think everyone that made the movie and responsible for making the movie did a fantastic job. The material in which it's based off of is corny as hell. So I really can't really fault anyone making the movie because they're killing it with adapting this, as far as I know.
I mean, from what I remember, like, yeah, this is actually a very like faithful adaptation of like everything that happens in the book.
Yeah, and it's shot okay. Like,
yeah,
I can't really like fault it for being shitty because it's really only dumb because of the story, and this story is based off a book. So they're, yeah.
I feel like a lot of the choices that are made here, like you said, are directly because of like the book and what that material is. So yeah, there's a lot to laugh at and a lot of just like really ridiculous and cheesy things, but it's based off of the source material, and like
And
that's
be
more why.
and before reading any reviews, because I'm sure a lot are going to talk about their acting. What are they given? Like, what are they working with? Like,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
else? What would you do with that material? Like, I don't know. I can't, because like both of the, at least Bella and Edward have killed it in the acting world. Both are like doing really well with new things. I feel like Kristen Stewart might get an Oscar for playing
Yeah,
Diana.
yeah,
Pattinson might get an Oscar for playing Batman,
yeah.
or at least just be talked about a lot. Who knows?
Yeah, I
He's
mean,
fucking Batman now.
he's gonna be Batman, yeah.
No
And
one, no one would have guessed that after this.
absolutely not. I don't think after watching this, anyone would have guessed that, like, in a decade plus, she might be up for an Oscar and he's gonna be Batman, like in the same year.
Let's start off with some good reviews. Let's start off on the positive note.
Yeah,
Something nice about it.
it's the season of love, baby. It's Valentine's Day. Let's, start off with the nice love. Richard Corliss with Time magazine said, "It rekindles the warmth of great Hollywood romances where where foreplay was the climax and a kiss was never just a kiss."
Ooh, you know what? Teenage love is so tough. It's so hard.
So hard.
Anytime
So
the wife and I are
emotional.
watching some like teen love in a movie, like, oh, it's like whining about how difficult it is. We just look at each other. Oh, love is so hard.
It's so hard.
It's so tough, guys. You'll figure it out one day. That's so, being a teenager is rough.
It's hard.
Will Lawrence at Empire Magazine. Sometimes girly swirl of obsession that will delight fans. This faithful adaptation is after teenage blood and will most likely hit a box office artery.
Yeah, it fucking will. It'll make so much money. It's stupid.
I'm pretty sure it made a lot of money.
Oh my god, all of those movies fucking did. And not just money, we got the merchandise, we got all the shirts that said Team Edward, Team Jacob, like all, oh my god, you can't even imagine how much is in Twilight.
Really, Team Jacob?
Yeah, no, yeah.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay, we'll get into that, but like I definitely was definitely book Jacob. And granted, I was Team Jacob before I realized he would like be into a baby.
Okay.
Did not know that was going to be an outcome. So
cool. I like the wolf aspect. It just sucks that there's werewolves aren't really touched on in this. They're hinted at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dana Stevens with Slate said, "As a parable for the dark side of female desire, it's weirdly powerful." Dana, she's like 17. I don't know. No.
From what I've read it and heard about this movie, I feel I've heard that the Bella was written in a way to be super basic that any girl could be like, "That's me."
Yeah, and it fucking works.
So Bella. I'm Bella because I do this.
It's really funny watching that, knowing that, because you can definitely tell, like, I mean, there's just nothing. This girl does not have a personality. Frederick and Mary Ann Bressat with Spirituality and Practice wrote, "A tantalizing movie about being swept away by fervent desire, ecstatic love, and aching of the heart in the presence of a beloved."
I mean, I do not understand like why she's so attracted to him based off of nothing. There's not like a meet cute. It's just like they see each other like, "What's up? I'm in school with you." Like that's all. That's it.
And like honestly, he's kind of sucks from the get-go. Like he's very rude. He's not friendly. He's, trying to contain his like vampireness. So he's like away from her. I mean, the first time they actually see each other, he looks like he's about to puke because he has to hide that he wants to like eat her.
For me, who doesn't remember the series as well, is there a specific reason why her blood is just so much more attractive to him?
Because she's Bella and she's the best.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let's shit on this movie.
It's time to shit on this movie.
Oh man, let's see what people didn't like.
Mark Savlov with Austin Chronicles said, I've had mosquito bites that were more passionate than this undead, unrequited, and altogether unfun pseudo-romantic riff of Romeo and Juliet.
I wouldn't say it's unfun because, like, even in me as a non-fan, I can still sit through this and it's entertaining.
I mean, the vampire baseball scene is a lot of fun. Justin Chang from Variety said, a disappointingly anemic tale of forbidden love that should satiate the pre-converted, but will bewilder and underwhelm viewers who haven't devoured Stephanie Meyer's best-selling juvie chick lit franchise.
Chick lit.
Chick lit, like literary chicks.
Yeah. Kimberly Gadet of Indie Movies Online. Bella, a fairly unlikable young woman with a glum expression, has put a smell on Edward, a ruby red-lipped Nosferatu. It's a tedious stare down. Bring a thermos of espresso and an alarm clock.
Oh, a lot said in
went
there.
hard.
I like a ruby red-lipped Nosferatu. I've never heard him described that way. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I will always refer to him as, oh, he's the Nosferatu, right?
Yeah. All right. Hollywood's sassiest bitch came in with a hot take on Twilight. And this might be the most off the rails hot take for a review he's had.
Okay.
Roger Ebert with the Chicago Sun-Times wrote, the movie was directed by Catherine Hardwicke. She uses her great discovery, Nikki Reed. She was in 13.
Okay.
She uses her great discovery, Nikki Reed, in the role of the beautiful Rosalie Hale. Reed wrote Hardwicke's 13 when she was only 14. That was a movie that knew a lot more about teenage girls.
Why are we talking about her? She's like barely in the movie.
She's hardly in the movie. Also, like, none of that is about this movie. It's just like fun facts about the movie.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think Roger would have known a lot about teenage girls in 2008. I just don't see why he couldn't make the judgment call on like which movie knew more about teenage girls. So, Joe, I am dying to know how your second chance with Twilight was.
I don't want to say it's enjoyable, but it's not unenjoyable. Like each scene by itself is okay, but like altogether it's a jumbled mess of a story.
I'm very curious because you're being actually a lot nicer on this movie than I expected you to be.
I don't hate it. It's just really dumb, and I know how dumb it is. And again, I know it was like it's based off of dumb material, and I think it's done well. So I can't really fault anyone who made this movie because, like, all in all, this is cash grab. Like, this is a studio that was like,
right.
Hey, this book series is super popular.
Yeah.
Harry Potter was super popular, and it was a book series. And yeah, it made a shit ton of money, and they did everything right to make that shit ton of money. And like all the lead actors made a shit ton of money being in them.
Yeah.
And a lot of other like unknown actors got their start, got some screen time, and now they're doing big things. Because like even like your minor characters, Anna Kendrick's in it.
Oh yeah.
She's been nominated for an Oscar since then. She's been in a hell of a lot of things. Christian Cerritos is in fucking Walking Dead. Justin Chon, who I was like, that dude looks so familiar because I just watched these trailer. I'm super excited to watch the movie called Blue Bayou that he's written and directed and starred in.
Wow.
So, holy shit. I didn't know he got to star fucking Twilight.
There is a lot in this cast that's going on. And well, again, they're not doing the best in this movie. They've shown their talent elsewhere, especially like our leads, who to me, I do truly think like the chemistry and the acting of Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson is awful. Like truly I do. Which is interesting because they were dating in real life when this happened. So I don't think it's necessarily like their fault that they don't have chemistry. Like they dated, they must have liked each other, but somehow it just doesn't like match up here.
I'm gonna put a pause. Who knows if that was real romance? Who knows if it
Yeah,
was
that's
staged?
true. That's you could be right that it was staged, but I know like both of them in recent years like have
Talked
talked
about it?
about each other
Okay.
and have said genuinely nice things about the other. Like Case
Yeah.
Stu did like a Howard Stern interview like 2 or 3 years ago and was like, Robert Pattinson's like the best. He's like the coolest guy. So like even if that was a showman's, like they still liked each other to a certain degree. But yeah, on screen they just have like no chemistry. And this is like supposed to be like this romantic love story. There's something so strange about Kristen Stewart in this movie.
Okay.
And I think a lot of it does go back to the fact that like Bella is there's nothing like she's supposed to be bland so that like female audience members could literally transport themselves in her place, and so like there's no defining characteristics of this gal, so there's really only so much to like springboard yourself off of or like get a starting point with acting. Well, I'm very curious about something you did like for Twilight. What is something you enjoyed and found entertaining?
I think the thing that works best for this is like the mythology, and this is more so for the whole series rather than just this first one. I like that, like Stephanie Meyer's like, you know what? I like vampires, but I'm gonna do it my way. This is how vampires are in my universe, and I think it's all explained well enough for like someone on the outside that doesn't know the books. Okay, this is what it is. You got to go in with a clean slate and not be like, I know vampires and books do this and they hate garlic and like, okay, well maybe they love garlic in this one. This is it, or like a stake through the heart will kill them. Yeah, but like this one, in this one, vampires glitter in the sunlight. That's the reality we live in. They do it clearly. It's not confusing. I think they do a good job.
I've never thought of it that way because I did know the story going in, but that is a good point, and I think you're right. Like, this movie does very like clearly set out the rules of this universe and like what is going on here and sticks to it.
The vampire family is like living in the northwest in the middle of the forest. I think that's an interesting place where we've never seen vampires modern day in the forest.
Yeah.
And they explain why, and like there's different tribes of vampires. There's like the bad ones. Oh, sorry, we're causing trouble on your turf. Yeah, we've been here for a while. You're messing up a good thing we got going on. Oh, well, cool, man. Like, we'll be on our way. Except that girl you're trying to fuck is gonna be my lunch. So gross.
So one thing that I like now have just like a conundrum understanding is like, why do the Cullens, Edward's vampire family, cosplay as teenagers in a high school?
Because they all died as teenagers.
Right, but none of them actually look like teenagers.
Yeah, but like that's because no one wanted to hire teenagers. Teenagers would age out. You just hired the young 20-year-olds who could look like 20-year-olds forever.
Yeah, okay,
but like they explain that well. They were like, yeah, we have to like disappear for a couple years and like come back and like yeah, I don't know why they need to go to high school all the time. They could just be like, oh yeah, we just graduated high school. We're all like, well, just recent grads.
Right. Whatever.
It is weird that they're all in high school.
It's weird, yeah.
I know we've been living around for 1,000 years, but you know what? we want to keep going to school. It's like the last place I would
School
go.
is the best. Yeah, no, if I could stay young forever, I never would go to high school.
I'd
And
visit the movie theater every day.
no, I just wouldn't spend my time there. That's for sure. Especially if you don't have to sleep. Like you could do a lot in your life.
Oh yeah,
It's a
they never
lot.
sleep. What a
They
weird
never
rule.
sleep. Yeah, they never sleep. Um, Interesting. So I think another thing too, and I don't remember how the book handled this, where this fault lies on, is that there's like a lot of random murders in the town that's
Yeah.
happening throughout. That is, as we the audience knows, the work of evil vampires. But the town doesn't know that. So like the sheriff, the town leaders, like everyone is very casual about like, yeah, I don't know, there might be like a serial killer around. Like, that's kind of weird.
Again, this is like a whole subplot that feels like a different movie. That is, they're all running and gonna collide in a minute, and it's sloppy.
It is, and I think like that's kind of strange. I think that there would be like there could be some mistakes here of like, wow, people are really scared and freaking out, and like we're already kind of like looked at as kind of strange. I don't know. Like the Cullens could be like taking it way more seriously. Like we could have like a lot of anxiety around this. And so like that's where we can like really highlight some of like what makes these villains any different from like other vampires. Cause like why are these ones so bad? I mean, when all vampires drink
Yeah,
like
why are
human
the
blood.
Cullens nice?
Yeah.
Why
Like
did they
why?
decide, you know what, we're not gonna be shitheads to everyone and kill everyone?
Right. Yeah, we don't
And
really
these
get that
three were like, you know what?
backstory.
Fuck everyone. I'm gonna eat what I want.
Right. Like,
I'm gonna wear a jacket without a shirt.
ooh, showed you. Like, I think we could have definitely had more of the because these are our bad guys, our antagonists for the movie. I think we could have like just felt that more. Because yeah, it's just like this weird background of like, oh, we murdered. And then all of a sudden the murders become actually like a really big deal. One thing that I find really, really funny is that this is a movie. Okay. Um, the first inkling that Bella has that Edward might be a vampire,
Mhm.
she takes to Google, and we get an internet search montage that cracks a case of like,
Yeah.
oh, this is what it is. Her first Google, I don't know if you caught it. Her first like, let me type it into the Google was about cold people. So it was like very cold people, and then the internet took her to vampires.
Oh, instantly. Girl, I got you.
Yeah,
I know you're.
we know what you're looking for because they touch hands. His hand is cold, and she's like, and so she's like, why
I
is he
feel like
so cold?
the only explanation is that person is absolutely a vampire.
It's a vampire. Also, I do like at this point, like they haven't really had like a friendship or like anything, and she's
He's
just,
saved her from getting run over.
and then she's like, I was just on Google, and we're taking it to the forest, and she's like, hey, you run fast, and your skin is cold. So what's that about? And he's like, bitch.
Fucking say it.
Vampire.
That's right. I'm Batman.
One thing that really I cannot deal with, it shouldn't have been a thing in the book, in anything. It's not romantic, it's not cute. Is that like Edward climbs into her room without her knowledge, without her knowing, climbs in through her window and just watches her sleep
Yeah.
for hours because he's
Pretty-
not
yeah.
sleeping.
It's creepy. Yeah.
It's so creepy. And like it's played to be like really sweet. And she's like, why are you watching me sleep? And he goes, it's peaceful.
Because it's gorgeous.
Like, that's not okay.
When you said climbing, I thought you were talking about him in the tree. Just
Oh
going
yeah.
like,
He can climb really good up trees as
the
well.
way they climb, the way they float and fly and run is so goofy.
It's so bizarre. You know what else I find super weird? Just story wise, is that so we have this like bad vampire who's like, hey, I'm gonna fucking eat her.
James.
James. So he like is super into wanting to like drink Bella's blood, which for like a moment I guess could bring some drama, but like he stalks her, like literally, like they run her out of the state. They are like, we are leaving, and they drive her off, and he follows them. The fight culminates because this vampire baddie found her old house where she used to live in Arizona, like broke in or something, and somehow found out where she took ballet lessons as a child so that they could all get them to meet at the ballet studio.
It
And
was
it's
very hard to connect all those dots.
like,
Wait,
that's
how
bizarre.
how did we get from point A to point B?
It's so bizarre. It's like, bro, just find another person to drink. Like, she can't taste that good. That's a lot of work. Um, I think also the fight with him and the other vampires is like, a little anticlimactic, but it kind of looks cool.
They rip him the fuck apart.
They pop his head clean off.
And then they just start ripping and eating him up. And I'm like, what movie genre do we turn into?
Yeah.
What? No way. No way do we just do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about, we haven't talked about it much in this. You're Team Jacob.
Yeah.
Why are you Team Jacob?
So again, now I'm team neither. But at the time, like Edward.
That's fair. I'm also Team neither.
I'm team neither now, but back when I was younger, Jacob just seemed like nicer. He seemed to actually like really care about her well-being, and
Yeah, okay.
and Edward was more like
I just
possessive,
like you because of something.
kind of, and also like didn't really care what she wanted to do as a person, or like let her make her own decisions. It was very much like, I love you and you're gonna do this because I need to protect you.
Super weird that she like moves all the way to like live with her dad because her mom's like, I got a new husband, so
yeah, her mom sucks.
bye, sending you away. Yeah. And then the first thing she does is like, I'm gonna move in with this boy. I'm in love with you. Girl, you've known him like a month at most.
Yeah.
A week. Like, what are we doing?
We hardly know this kid.
We rushed into this so hard.
So hard.
Also, I wish this movie had more Jacob, because Jacob was like a chill dude. He was
that too. Jacob was
friendly,
like really down to earth.
It seemed like he was a bunch of like surfer bros that just like, we're gonna go run shirtless. Later, peace.
Jacob plays, he's definitely got a bigger role as the series goes. So I always thought like, he was just more fun. He was just like cuter, like just nicer. And also like Edward gets creepy at times. Like again, like watches her sleep, follows her around so she doesn't like get hurt. At one point in this movie, Bella just like lightly trips, like she just trips and catches herself, and he yells at her. He's like, would you stop? Would you watch where you're going? And it's like, because like he just can't see anything bad happen to her. And even when I was younger, I was like, she's not a fucking like piece of glass, like let the girl do her own thing. I didn't like that. I like that Jacob was like more fun.
If she falls and gets hurt, then you get to drink her delicious
drink
blood.
her fucking blood, my dude. And Jacob was just like, hey, let's like hang out. I'm like, what's up? And just like Jacob more. He was just nicer and he was cuter. And then they give him like just the most bizarre ending, which I do not appreciate. But yeah, they did him weird. And then it turns out that the only reason why he even liked Bella was because she carried half the DNA of the baby. They say that like in the movie at some point. They're like, oh, I didn't actually like you. I liked the fetus you would one day grow.
Ugh.
The fuck?
Yuck.
Ugh.
That's
too much.
strange.
So weird. One thing that I realized this time around that I had not realized any other time around. When Bella at some point is eating dinner with her father, who like she doesn't even, who seems nice. Like her dad always seems like really chill and cool, and like he seems like he just
doesn't fucking care. He always like, you're kind of ruining my whole bachelor thing. We can hang out if you want. I just like sitting here. It's my thing. I don't got much more than that.
It's really bizarre because like neither of them have seen each other in like forever, and it's like, don't you care about your daughter, my dude? Like you wouldn't.
Have you talked to each other ever
Yeah.
before?
Have you called her up to wish her happy birthday? Like what?
Oh, I don't know what you like. Isn't there something about like him thinking about getting a present, but like, I don't know what you like.
Yeah, and he like sets up this room and is like, I hope this is fine. I don't really know you.
He said, I wrote it because I thought it was stupid. You like purple, right? Was that one of the defining characteristics you somewhat remembered of her? She liked purple, maybe.
I mean, she is Bella, so yeah, what does she like?
Teenage girls in the audience. I kind of like purple. That's me.
So there's a part because the only place that her dad ever has dinner is at the local diner. So they meet up there a couple times and just sit. Bella.
Dad's my favorite character. Whatever. Oh yeah. By the way, I'm also a sheriff.
He's the fucking sheriff.
Not that it really matters.
He doesn't care about his job as a sheriff too, because people are just getting murdered in this town, slaughtered.
Yeah.
He's like,
probably
I don't know.
a serial killer, but here I am gonna be sitting in my spot.
It could be like a serial killer, it could be like a deer. I don't really know.
A deer died, so it's probably a serial killer.
Probably,
not a hunter.
Just like let me know if you find anything.
Or it could have been a bigger animal. I don't know. I'm not. What do you think I am, a detective?
The game's on. I'm tired.
I don't watch TV. I don't run TV. I just sit.
And then at some point too, like she like rushes in and as again a teenager and is like, I'm leaving, and he's just like, okay, like,
see you later.
Do you want me to
Thanksgiving
call your mom? Like, okay. That's made it to be like, it was so
finish
hard.
My beer real quick. What do you? Okay, well, I guess I won't hear it if you're walking out the door. I want the movie from the dad's perspective. It's just him sitting in a room the whole movie.
What's happening? Okay.
It's like sitting and looking at the woods.
At some point, she's like, I said the thing that would hurt him the most. And it's like, really? Because he's really cool about it.
I'm leaving. Cool. Going back to doing exactly what I was doing for the last 18 years. I feel like this movie would have done just better if it focused on a little romance. It didn't have the trio of vampire murderers. We don't have them in my version. They complicate things and make it really, they raise the stakes way too high for out of nowhere. They're not in my story. They're not my Twilight story.
Oh, okay.
Vampires aren't shiny as well. That's really stupid.
The glittering doesn't look good nowadays.
It never looked good. I'm gonna let you know that. I just love the idea of, because like it starts off great with like, I have to move to a new school, and like we get Eric the tour guide be like, what's up? Welcome. This is school. Let me meet you. This is the jocks. He should have been, and those are the vampires. And then we'll go back. Who are those? Oh, they're vampires. And like everyone knows that they're the vampires, but they're
kind
chill.
of, yeah. But yeah, they're like, they don't need us.
I would rather they just be out in the open instead of trying to hide.
What's really interesting is that the students at the school don't know they're vampires, but think that they're all like this incestuous family.
Oh yeah,
that's
like yeah.
They don't.
They're all like adopted or like stepchildren,
and dating each other,
fucking each other. So like, it's weird.
But they're all really hot. So can you blame them? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
No, they're not. They're so pasty.
Dial it down a little. I would say on the pastiness in my Twilight movie. Like, have them just be pale enough that they like look human and can blend in, and not to this where it's like, oh my god, are you gonna pass out? So the ending is really strange to me, because we have this like really big moment where we like are fighting this villain, we're popping his head off, we're causing a fire, like things are getting wild, and then we just like cut to, I don't know, like a few weeks later, and we go to the prom.
Again, this is like a high school movie. This shouldn't have the
Yeah.
vampire murder things.
Yeah, because it's a weird transition. Super bizarre. No one is traumatized. She's super cool with it. Like, oh yeah, it happens. And they're just like dancing and talking, and she's like, "Hey, I want to be a vampire," and he's like, "I'm not gonna do that. No, no,
You're
no."
my life. I want to be a vampire. We just met this week and I need this to feel complete.
In the second one, I remember it's her birthday. In the second one, she's going from 17 to 18, and
Ooh, a real woman.
she is so upset about her birthday. She's like, I don't want to celebrate. I don't want to age, because like the more I age and you don't, it just reminds me that like I won't get my actual forever with you. And it's like, oh my god, you're so young, girl. Um, and then okay, so they're dancing. He's like, hey, I think you should think about this. Like, this is where like the 108-year-old brain comes in. He's like, ooh, I don't know if you're quite ready for this kind of commitment. Like, this is like forever changing. She's like, no, I vampire me. And then they that's it. They pull out and reveal that the evil redhead Victoria lady has just been watching them. And that's
Yeah,
it.
because she's gonna.
She's gonna come back.
Yeah, because she's
She
like,
comes
you
back.
just killed my boo, so
Yeah.
I'm going to turn into Bryce Dallas Howard.
The ending of this movie truly does feel like it's the end of an episode of a CW show rather than like a feature film ending, because it's just like, oh, okay. So that's that. It just stops. They dance and they stop, and that's that. And then we get 4 more movies. Well, Joe, do you think Twilight deserves a second chance?
I'm gonna say no. Um, if it's something, if it's something you loved, again, it's a very of the time, because it was just like a flash in the pan of like the next book series we turned into a movie. Um, Directed for a very specific audience. If you're part of the audience, I feel like you're always going to enjoy these movies no matter what. Um, if you're a significant other of someone who loves those movies, at least it could be worse. Um, I could sit through them if I had a significant other that forced me to watch them.
Wow.
Uh,
That's
luckily,
nice.
I don't have that. My significant other is like, fuck that. I'm not even sitting through it myself. Good luck on your own. Later, dude. Peace. Um. So yeah, I think at least for this first one, it's cramming too many like genre. It's trying to tell too many tales that don't fit together. It's her like fish out of water, high school, like I don't know who we're gonna take to prom, mixed with like, oh, a vampire that like wants me and I want him for unknown reasons. I, ooh, like, and it's weird. It's so weird. It's not romantic in the slightest bit. And then the third is there's 3 killer vampires on the loose, and no one's gonna solve that crime.
No.
So it's a weird amalgamation of all those things. But like, at least each scene is entertaining, whether that be for the good or for the bad. Um, I think everything was explained for someone who is out of the loop of the book series. So like I can at least pay attention to this, whereas other adaptations of things, I'm like, I'm so bored of everything. Um, there's better like book series movies to watch, like Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings. There's better series like Star Wars. Get a significant other that's into Star Wars. That's the best. Or at least we'll tolerate Marvel. That's another huge property. Like um Maze Runner is something that is present in our lives. Like it
There are
exists.
movies, yeah.
There's so many that have been tried to like be adapted, and some work, some don't. This, I think, definitely works for its intended audiences, but if it's not aimed at you, I don't think you're gonna love it or enjoy it. So if you're looking for romance movies, steer clear. This is not the one for you.
I would agree with that, but I say it does deserve a second chance, which is nuts because usually I'm the one that says no and you say yes. Wow. I say that because hold on, hold on. I was definitely in the intended audience, and there were times even back then that I was like, wow, this is not great. I think your intention to go into this movie has a lot. So if you're like me and you're like, wow, yeah, I used to love these movies, what's going on here? Check them out, give them a second chance, but maybe go in ready to laugh more at them and just like have fun with it rather than take it as like true love romance, because it's more enjoyable that way. Like I will absolutely watch these again for sure, and I will point out every weird fucking thing in them and just find them really funny. I will never watch them as like, oh, that was so sweet and romantic as in my childhood. Absolutely not. But if you do, if you take them seriously, like, hey, you'll probably still love them. So if you're in that target audience, fuck yeah, give it another shot. Go in and have fun.
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, they aren't as terrible as I once thought they were, but they're also not great.
They're not good, no.
It's not for me, but I enjoyed sitting through it this time.
Well, and if you're like me, where you just love bad things, like you love Lifetime movies or Hallmark movie, like just shit. If you watch Riverdale, like if you just know something is like objectively terrible, but you enjoy it, which I do, fuck yeah, yeah, it's great. It's the best of the worst, you know. Yeah, that was Twilight. We did it. So, thank you for listening to another episode of Second Chance Movies, Valentine's Day edition. Love is in the air. Hope you have a good Valentine's Day, even if you're single and you're like, fuck Valentine's Day, or with someone and you're like, Valentine's Day is stupid. Still hope you're having a nice day and week, you know, whatever. You can find us wherever you listen to your podcast, on YouTube if you just like want to look at us. We also are on all the social medias like Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, TikTok. Like, hello, follow us. Let's be friends and talk about movies. And we want to know if you were Team Edward or Team Jacob, or now Team neither. That's also a fine option. Bella could have just been on her own. Thank you as always to Beaty McBeatface for making our dope theme song. And yeah, we'll be back next week with another Second Chance movie.
I know what you are.
Say it.
Vampire.
Second chance.